welcome to another episode of the Cinema Scoop podcast with Sam and Jordan. And today we're going to be talking about Dune Part 2, which we saw in the theater in IMAX a few weeks ago, and we're finally getting a chance to talk about it. We both liked it. And what were your thoughts and your favorite parts?
I think my favorite part, it's a kind of like obvious choice, but the sandworm, I would say, like
When he's riding the sandworm?
Yeah, well, the entire process of him figuring out how to get on the sandworm was very like quintessential world building, sci-fi fantasy type of story structure, and I really like stuff like that. Yeah, and I don't know if you like had this on the agenda to talk about, but as far as Dune 2 versus Dune 1, so, as you will, like, I would say I preferred Dune 2 to Dune 1. And I know not everybody feels that way.
Yeah, I would agree. So it's interesting because when this movie first got put on Letterboxd, the ratings were so high, I'm talking Dune Part 2, this is recently, that it jumped in the Letterboxd top 250 official all-time movie list to like the top 10, which was crazy. I don't know what it is currently, but yeah, we're going to do a separate episode discussing sci-fi sequels and how some of them are so much better than the originals. But yeah, I would say I also like Dune 2 better than Dune 1. I just think the added characters that we'll get into with Florence Pugh and Austin Butler's character, I think it really added a little bit more. And then also Zendaya's a more important character in this second part. And I think they somehow found a way to make it visually not even just equal to the first one, but I think it's better visually. There's this, I think one of my favorite parts was the part where they go to the Harkonnen planet and Austin Butler's character is fighting in like the arena, and it's black and white, and it's because this black sun is in this universe or something. It was very interesting how that was done.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about that part?
I was confused by that part. I think I already told you. I was like, why is it in black and white? I don't understand. Like, maybe that's stupid of me, but I was just like, I don't get it. I thought it was a stylistic choice, but maybe it had something to do with the planet.
Yeah, I thought they quickly said there was like a black sun, which just meant that their light is different or something. I don't know. But again, we'll have to watch it a second time with subtitles because we're old. But
yeah. I was going to say, well, one thing worth mentioning is that they did just announce that there will be a third Dune.
Yes.
And from the looks of the Letterboxd listing, it appears that it will be Dune Messiah, but I don't know if that's what it will be called.
So the first and second part of Dune is supposed to encompass Dune, which is the only title of the first book. So the second book is Dune: Messiah, which I think the third film that Denis Villeneuve is going to do is called that because it's just going to encompass that whole second book. And I haven't read the books, but I did read some of the Wikipedia plot points, and they will focus more on Florence Pugh's character, and then Anya Taylor-Joy is basically a cameo in the second film, but in the third movie, she's supposed to have a much bigger role. But yeah, so we were going to talk about the four main actors. So Timothée Chalamet dominating. I think this could be, I think it's like his best performance just initially. I know he was nominated for Call Me By Your Name, and he has a lot of other great movies. We recently briefly started Wonka. It wasn't really the vibe, so we couldn't get shout out to Timmy C trying to sing as a candy maker, but ultimately
Not trying to sing. He's singing.
I mean, he does sing. I just mean like
it's just not very good.
It wasn't that good. But anyway, so yeah, I think him as Paul Atreides is just like it's kind of giving like Anakin Skywalker vibes, but like way better
Way better.
as far as like an acting and a performance.
I was talking about it from a different standpoint, but way better on those fronts too. I was then for the sex appeal, it's definitely better than Anakin. But like, because like Anakin, let's just like call it what it is. Like he's just like a tormented bad boy, and you're like, that's cute in like a way. Sorry, I bring the girly pop to the like actual.
Well, but he's like
review.
actually evil. At
Yeah,
the end.
but I know that. But like from a standpoint of a girl being like, you're cute for like Natalie Portman, she's just looking at him as like emo boy. He's emo boy. And like the thing with Paul Atreides is that he's a lot more complicated than that. And girls want a conflicted, complicated, morally gray fictional boy to pine after. And like when somebody's just like just basically mostly all evil, it's kind of boring. So that was my rant about why Paul Atreides is hotter than Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, so Timmy C signed a deal with Warner Brothers, so he's going to have all of his future projects basically can either be on HBO Max or Warner Brothers can pass on him, but ultimately that just means he's going to be in a lot of films. He's already cast in the Bob Dylan biopic.
I saw pictures of the behind the scenes of that.
That's probably going to be really good.
I mean, he just can't do anything wrong. I mean, wow. Don't put that out in the universe. He's probably going to do something and get canceled in the next 5 years or whatever. But I mean, and as far as the acting thing, like...
Yeah, just like Paul Atreides is really growing into his role as a Hollywood actor. And then we have Zendaya. What did you think about her performance?
I mean, she's just like quintessential strong female lead in a high fantasy, high sci-fi universe. Like, I can't really think of another good female equivalent to that in a lot of other series. I mean, maybe Arwen, Hermione, but like it's a very specific thing for somebody to be very, very good at that specific archetype, and she just kills it. Like, she's really, really good.
Yeah, like she's really what propels the plot and towards the end of the first one coming into the second one, and it's really her uneagerness to believe Paul Atreides is their messiah and when challenges him every step of the way, which I just think makes her a strong character.
Yeah.
And that she's set in her ways, but she's also like willing to work as a team and, you know, help others. And I think it's just a great character. So it's really devastating at the end where he has to choose Florence Pugh for political reasons.
The dumbest shit ever. Like, I was just like, wait. And you could see her going, wait. Like, you could see, she was so pissed.
Yeah, it was like they all had to bow to him, and she was like, nope, I'm not. Zendaya, she's like, I'm not going to do that.
She never did throughout any of the times where they were bowing to
I know.
and stuff. But that moment was like the moment where she was like, fuck this shit, I'm out. Like, you just picked another girl over me for political reasons. Like, at the drop of a hat. Like, so he had no remorse.
So I also wanted to talk about the fight scene at the end. I mean, we're kind of skipping a lot of plot. We're just like talking about the cast right now. And what do you think about Timothy and Austin Butler's fight scene at the end?
I said this to Sam as we were leaving the theater, and I stand by this. I loved the fight scene, but if you were to see Timothy Chalamet and Austin Butler on the street, who is going to win that fight? It's not Timothy Chalamet looking like a Muppet. Like, his ass looks like a Muppet.
Yeah, I can't really explain what Austin Butler even looked like.
Austin Butler is like pure solid muscle.
They made him look really freaky. And
like a skinhead.
Well, and just like, yeah, in general, if it's Austin Butler versus Timmy, it's like, obviously Austin Butler's going to win.
But they didn't even make Timothy Chalamet like bulk up for this role. That's what I'm saying. Is
yeah,
like,
he looks kind of puny next
it's
to
like a
Austin
Chihuahua
Butler.
and a bulldog. It's kind of
and
like
the bulldog's crazy.
And the bulldog's
but
fucking
the Chihuahua
crazy.
has to win.
Yes. I think the Chihuahua just like has an additional knife hidden or something, and that's really what how the Chihuahua wins. Like, Don't get me wrong, I love both of them. I'm a dog girl, but like,
So, Austin Butler, what did you think of his character? Because he was added into this film.
I liked his acting. I mean, it's no secret, like all four of the people that we're talking, all the four of the actors that we're talking about, like I'm obsessed with all four of them. And I think they all did like a really, really good job. The thing that I liked about this for Austin Butler is that I kind of feel like he's gotten a lot of shit for the Elvis role.
Yeah. I think this helps break him out of that, which is great.
I totally like that for him because I feel like the amount of people that just have like kind of shit on him for like the accent thing or whatever, like it's like totally unfair because it's like we get it, like he's stuck with the Elvis accent, but you try going through, quarantine only watching Elvis videos all the time.
Yeah, you would go insane too.
You would adopt a new accent too.
He kind of reminds me of if Tom Hardy mixed with Harry Styles.
He 100% does. I've never heard that. Oh my God. That's so funny.
But I love how he approached this movie because I saw an interview where he specifically said Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight as the Joker. He was like, I got to get that insane.
No, you don't.
But yeah, I think he was really good. I'm excited to see, like, I heard The Bike Riders is coming out.
We
He's
saw
supposed to
that.
be in that. Yeah, we saw the trailer.
Yeah.
And then Florence Pugh as the princess to Christopher Walken.
Florence Pugh, more like Florence.
Yeah, her outfits are awesome.
She is just a bombshell. Like, she's gorgeous. She's awesome. She
had the best line in the movie at the end.
Yep.
Where she, you know what I'm talking about?
What?
Where she's like, Paul Atreides won the battle between him and Austin Butler, and she's like, I will be your willing bride, basically.
The entire internet
Yeah.
to Timothy Chalamet at all points. I will be your willing bride. Yeah. I just think like her outfits are so great in this movie. She's also just like a cool person. Like, I don't know. I just think she'd be cool to hang out with. She seems like a cool person.
Yeah, for sure.
I've enjoyed, I don't know if you've seen all the TikToks that like all four of them will do together.
I've seen a few.
And people just like make the funniest edits with them because it'll be like, hey, this is Timothy Chalamet and Austin. And then somebody will be like, and Austin. Like,
yeah.
If you understand what I'm talking about, but like, it's so funny thinking of like the four of them just being like, oh, hey guys, just another day at work today. All four of us hanging out.
Okay, so I want to talk about Denis Villeneuve specifically. So, yeah, we talked about how they've already confirmed they're going to do Dune Messiah. This guy, basically, when the first one came out in 2021, it got 10 Oscar nominations, and Best Director was not one of them. So I think this year he's probably definitely going to get nominated. And if they get nominated in all the other categories, that would be 11. And yeah, that's not including if the actors get nominated or not. But
were none of the actors nominated in Dune 1?
No. So if they get one acting nomination, that means it could get to 12 or even 13.
Wow.
Potentially. So it could rival, Return of the King and Titanic. But we'll have a bigger Oscar debate or discussion about Dune Part 2 when we get closer to the next Oscars. But I think this is the clear front runner. But yeah, Denis Villeneuve, we'll talk a little bit more about him in another episode coming up, but he dominated this movie, and he keeps putting out good movies. I don't know if he's ever made a bad movie.
I haven't seen all of his movies.
Yeah, there's a few you haven't seen, but I think you've actually only seen Dune and Dune Part 2. Right?
And Blade Runner 2049.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then there's Arrival. There's Sicario's really good. I haven't seen Prisoners, but I've heard that one's really good.
Have you seen Enemy?
No, that's another one. So, like, I've heard a lot of his or all of his are just really good.
Enemy and Prisoners are the ones I'm most excited to visit, hopefully soon.
Yeah, I think he's, like, approaching Christopher Nolan territory.
Good call.
So, they definitely do things differently, but just as far as career arc in Hollywood, modern day,
yes.
like, they're making the most consistent good movies.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the thing that Chris Nolan has not really ever done is like fantasy or sci-fi, like to that level.
Yeah, like he did Interstellar, obviously, but
That's like his
that
arrival.
was more like a futuristic, real life look at what could happen, whereas Dune is obviously a fictional novel.
Yeah, like adaptations, like big fantasy adaptations. I think Chris Nolan should do that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, any final thoughts on Dune Part 2?
What was it? Dune to others as you would have Dune to you.
Dune Tune.
Dune. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. Yeah, I really liked Dune. They're really long ass movies.
Yeah, this one was a little longer, I think.
Slightly longer than the first one. It's exciting to see the Academy be potentially rivaling the acceptance rate that they had for Lord of the Rings with another high fantasy novel adaptation series. Like, that's great. We love to see like a good book to movie adaptation get like critical acclaim. So I think that's cool that we would see something like that, like for the nerds.
I was appreciative of what they did, and I thought it was a good movie. Okay, well, that concludes our episode of Dune Part 2.
We'll be back soon to talk about our favorite sci-fi sequels.
Bye.
Bye.